Rightio, as I said earlier, I brought some ingredients from home to cook something. Now, winter being winter, perfect for campfires, camp ovens, that sort of thing. Nice warm hearty meals, or in this case, the roast. So I've got the old carrots there. Oh, she's stuck. No rust. Luckily, I haven't used this camp oven for about 2 years. Normally, if I'm using the camp oven while I'm out camping with someone else and use the bigger ones, like this is about a 4 quart, so one of the little ones. I've fit a roast chook and veggies in here to feed a family of 4, but only 3 of us have eaten out of it. So I'm going to put this on the coals now that the fire's going and let it heat up so I can give it a good clean. And while that's happening, just on the side of the fire, you don't want lots of heat with camp oven cooking. So in here, twiggies. Our protein of choice is a nice little pork, bone and rolled shoulder roast. $7.50. It's 700 grams, so not quite a kilo. I need some sandwich meat for home, which is why I got that. It's the biggest problem when you go camping, doing camp ovens, trying to find a small serving of meat. Sometimes just throwing some lamb chops, some steaks, that sort of thing in there is all right as well. But finding something small, you're not carrying around a kilo of roast the day after. Throw a bit of pumpkin in there, spuds, our carrot. I'll give the pork a bit of a salt rub. There is skin on it, but because it's that thin and that round, it's not gonna stay upright like that to crackle up a lot. Again, I want it for sandwich meat, so I don't really need the crackle on it, and I think I've got a loose tooth at the moment, so I don't want to be chewing or trying to break through some crackle. We'll do that on the future one when I do a proper big pork roast. But in the meantime, I'll clean this camp oven out and start dicing up some vegetables. Alright, that's going to be a bit warm. Lid, yes it is. Rock meat lid. While that lid's off, I'll give not used to the height. It's going to be fun night. Okay. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cooking in your camp oven and taking it home, washing it out with water, suds, that sort of thing, even at camp, and then leaving it for God knows how long. It'll rust, it'll do all sorts of things. Now again, I said this has been 2 years since I used it. It probably hasn't. It was probably Easter last year, so not quite 2 years. Normally I'll probably show you in the morning when I finish and do the cleaning up. Normally I just tip out whatever contents, oil, onion, vegetables that haven't been eaten, and give it a good wipe out like this, and then while it's warm, give it a good spray of oil and just leave it. You can tell, and I normally only do chicken and pork anyway because they're the cheaper proteins, but you can normally tell when you cook the next one, you get that bit of flavour in there. Again, just make sure you've given it a good clean. No, I won't say solids, no sharp, no scrapers. Steel wool maybe, depending on how burnt you've got it, but if you do it right, the camp oven shouldn't be that dirty once you've cooked in it, even if you are trying to get a bit of heat in there to get the crackle. Most of that's on top anyway, where there's no nothing touching. So while that's not hot, sit him over there, or even down there. I'll leave the protein till last just so I don't bloody the knife. 2 potatoes, trip away. Stick it. I haven't used this chopping board yet. Just going to cut them in half. As I said earlier, I'm not going to dress or marinate or season the pork much more than just the where'd the carrot go? Much more than just as it is, because it's going to be dripping or covered in pepper gravy anyway. So, whoop, here come the motorbike squad. I was waiting for it. Sounds electric. Alright, they're coming this way. Oh, smoke. Right, so peeled our carrot, I'll just cut that in half as again to spread it around. They're down in the creek. So, pumpkin, I'm not going to do a lot of pumpkin. I'll just cut a little square out of the corner. Again, what is it? It's a kilo of butternut pumpkin. It was only $2 from Coles, but oh, don't you go anywhere. And I'm going to skin that, of course. Probably could have done a bit better, but a bit bigger. But again, roast fills you up so much. There. Take the rubbish off. Get the rubbish bag out, don't I, Spots? Just going to give a quick skin. Sometimes when I do Jap pumpkin, the bigger pumpkins, I'll leave the skin on just so you can sort of use your fork to scoop the pumpkin out of the skin once it's roasted, because it's magnificent. But for this, I'll do that. Bring our trivet up, mat, whatever you want to call it. To get ash in it. Pork, I like this. Drop them straight in. I'll probably leave the I might take that netting off. We'll see, we might be able to get a little bit of crack on it, just the way it's laying in here. Top bit. If I cut the top of the strings and just expose the top of the skin here, I might be able to get some crackle to form. Worst case, it's going to come open. Paper towel dispenser works a treat. Can't believe I didn't do it before. So that's in there. A little bit of oil. After working at the abattoirs and seeing what happens behind the scenes with pork production anyway, you don't need a lot of liquids in your pan. You're going to get a lot of water or saline come out of the pork as well. So salt. See if the frost, the cold mornings have got to this. No. Main thing, 2 ingredients for crackling is heat and oil. You want that skin to bubble, blister. Pork skin, not your own. Anyone that survived being burnt and that probably getting what do you call it? Triggered right about now. But I'll put a little bit more oil in there. And again too, you're going to be cooking at a high temperature, so any sort of bacteria that may be in there from the previous cook, well, it would have died when you warmed it up anyway. But so all the spuds are going to go skin down, just to keep them together, and roast the tops up. Spread them around. Get the pork in the middle. Get the pork in the middle. Carrot. What are you here? kangaroo coming to get my roast. Rightio, so quick looky in. That's in there. Again, I'll give the spuds a bit of a coating with oil. Bit more oil on top. Bit of salt on them as well for seasoning. A bit more salt on there. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to have most of the heat on the top for a start, just to get that skin to crackle up a bit. So that will nearly do us. Get our lid back from over here. Make sure nothing's hanging off it before it goes back on. Nothing worse than ash and crap in your roast. Might be nearly time for replacement. This one's got a little bit of a bow, in it. Rightio, so it's about 4:30. The sun's going to set pretty quick, being winter and in the hills. So normally I'd like to have this done a bit early, but going off the size of the roast, should be under 2 hours. So some coals out there. This one's coaled up pretty well actually. Some more on here in a minute. Definitely need the coals on top to get that pork crackling at the top. Bit of heat straight up just to get it going, and then you can back it off as the time passes. I'll get some more wood on there. Come on, you come too then. Looks like, sorry spots. Looks like the smoke's going to be with us for a bit. Now you mainly want a steady sizzle, much like cooking any sort of protein in the frying pan at home. If it's cooking too hard, you'll hear it, it'll be sizzling off its head, and best thing to do is just take it off, let things cool down. But again, it's probably going to take 5 or so minutes for that heat to get in there and start cooking it. So I haven't gone overboard with the coals on top. You are beside the heat source here as well, which will be handy. Bit of heat on there. If you are cooking next to the fire again, every 15-20 minutes, just rotate the camp oven 180. So you get that heat distribution right. But that's sizzling there now already, so we'll be happy with that. As it starts to die down, I've got space around, I can throw some more hot coals around the outside and keep that heat into it, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. It's time for a beer. Right, so that's been half an hour. I'll get rid of some of these coals off top. The sizzling's died a little bit. I might just grab a knife before I get too far into it. Steak knife. This wood's coaling up really nice too. Nice big lumpy hot coals, which helps. Oh, that smell. So not a lot of crackle on top. Those spuds are definitely softened up. Pumpkin's softened up. So, leaning over the fire just doesn't help. So that's going good. That might not even need another hour, another half hour I reckon. So, up there. Get some of these coals out here and get a bit of heat. A bit more heat on that top. Just to get it to crackle up, brown up on top. Not going to add any more to the bottom because those veggies and that are cooked. So just need a bit of heat in there to get them to crackle up and brown those veggies a bit. Rightio, dinner time. I've just I've pre-boiled some water in the pot there just for the gravy. Ash has got everywhere, of course. Might bring up, put the camp oven. Go sideways. Camp oven there. Rightio. So what do we need from here? We need a knife and fork. No, I've got a knife. Need spoony, fork. Right, I'll get off the heat anyway and bring it over so that way it can start to cool down. Oh, it's nice. I might smells good. There's gonna go, but we'll see. Okay, you can stay there. So I'll take this lid off without dropping coals. Nope. Lid seems to be weighted one way rather than the other, which is always handy. Oh, where's my rock? Ooh, put the lid back on the rock. That's. So, we didn't get the crack on it. So I didn't think that we was going to be able to. So. That didn't work. Right. See if the last plate comes out in one piece. Oh, just phone. So I'll turn this back on quickly. Or not. It's always fun. You go the finger hairs. Bring that back up to the boil. While I'm doing that, I should have just used one potato because I'm not going to eat the rest of that. Bit of a waste, but anyway. Oh. If you're not using a spoon to get your pumpkin out, then it's definitely not cooked. A couple of peas in a fork. Wipe over just so it doesn't put too much dribbles on the chopping board. There we go. Nice big chunks of pork. Oh yeah. Oh, divine. Maybe one more. I'm sure the dog's going to want some as well. Rightio. There. Boiled. Mixing container. Always carry carry pepper gravy, some sort of gravy with me in the while camping. You never know when you're going to need it. Two good teaspoons in there. I'm going to save that for coffee in the morning, so I won't wet it. In there like that. Soft that, click in. Spoon, I said meant fork. Oh. Now, as I said earlier, a lot of people mistake they make. They get into camp, they wait too long to get the camp oven on, coals, and they just rush it. At 6, 7 o'clock, we'll go get the roast on. They just do not give the protein time to cook. They throw it on the fire, throw it close to the fire, load the coals up on it, and you're just going to have a bad time. Now, as I said earlier, with the pork, it's got that much water and saline solution in it. It's very hard to overcook them. Trust me, if you had too much heat, you're just going to burn it, really. So, and it doesn't matter if it's chook. Again, good 1.5 kilo, 2 kilo chook needs a good 2.5 hours in the camp oven. So, if you know you're going to cook a camp oven when you get into camp, plan ahead. Get there early. I got in at 3 o'clock. By the time I found somewhere to park, managed to get parked on a level, got the fire going. It was 4:30 before I managed to get enough coals to get this on. So that's something you got to think about. Chicken's still relatively cheap at the moment. If you got your own lambs, that makes things a hell of a lot easier. But that's just about done. Keep stirring it. What else is there? Yeah, should have had 1 spud instead of 2. That's all right. Puppy dog will finish that off later. A little bit of oil on that in the bottom. I'm just going to leave it. I'll put the lid back on it tonight, so no dust and crap can get in there. Oh, a bit extra. Made too much, of course, but who cares? That's camping. So, I'll see if I can burn the arse out of my hand. Paper plates aren't the best for roast, but roast pork, roast veggies in the camp oven. I was in BCF today, but didn't see how much actual little camp ovens were. That's getting warm, so I'm going to put that back down. Leftover meat for lunch and everything else for the week, and what can I say? I'm probably going to end up drinking that. Oh, I love gravy, so fork. Gonna sit down, I'm gonna enjoy this before it gets cold. Again, just take your time, low heat. Again, with your pork, a bit of extra heat on top of the lid and not under the camp oven will get a bit more crackle. There is some crackle there, but I wasn't hunting for it anyway, so that's been me for the budget kitchen. I'm going to enjoy this before it gets cold, and I'll get back to you later.